Hi, I'm Terry. Today I want to talk to you about willingness and sobriety. Getting and staying sober can be difficult. You need to really want to stop drinking. Maybe you've gotten to the point where you really want to quit. What next? Well, you need to become willing. What do I mean by become willing? In this video, I'm going to explain what it means and how you can become willing in relation to quitting alcohol. First, let's define willing. Willing is defined as disposed, inclined, or cheerfully consenting or ready to do something. When someone is willing to do something, their minds become more open and receptive. They may decide to do things now that they didn't want to do in the past. Being willing means they're open to change rather than fighting it. In addiction recovery, a person that is willing will put in the effort to do whatever it takes to get and stay sober. They'll gravitate towards people that have been successful in recovering from alcohol addiction, and they'll work hard to do what that person did. Those that feel they have been forced or coerced into getting sober may only put half-hearted attempts, or maybe even sabotage their own sobriety just out of spite. For someone trying to get and stay sober, it's imperative that they're willing to do what it takes. No one can force you to get sober. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get sober. Many that have relapsed or don't want to get sober may say that whatever program they tried to get sober with didn't work for them. They might say, I did what they told me to do and it didn't work. Or they may say, I'm better now and I can control my drinking now. But the fact is, they probably weren't willing to do the work. To become willing to get and stay sober, there are some important components that are key. First, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to live a sober life. That means being open-minded to use all resources that are available. It also means listening to what doctors, trained addiction counselors, and recovered alcoholics tell you to do. Second, sobriety has to become a top priority in life. It's easy to fall back into drinking, and it can be difficult to stay in sobriety. So every decision that you make throughout a day needs to be with sobriety as a top priority. I'm talking things like sitting in the restaurant rather than the bar when you're going out for dinner, or maybe avoiding parties where you know alcohol is going to be present. You may have to go as far as not hanging out with certain friends because the only thing you do with them is drink. This may not be easy, but if you want to stay sober, it may be imperative. Another component of willingness and sobriety is taking an active responsibility for your own recovery. Sure, addiction counselors, family, friends, doctors, your boss, maybe even a judge wants you to get sober. They're probably willing to help too. But to be successful, you have to be willing to do the work yourself. And finally, one more super important component of willingness is you have to develop a degree of humility. You need to be open-minded and understand that you don't have all the answers. You have to listen and learn from other people's experiences. Finally, you need to get rid of any reasons why you hear or tell yourself why you may not try a certain path to recovery. If you're truly willing to get and stay sober, you've got to do whatever it takes. So, I spoke about how and why willingness is imperative to recover from alcoholism. I told you how you need to be open-minded and develop a degree of humility. But what does that mean? In the next video, we're going to explain open-mindedness and its importance in sobriety. So stay sober, and I'll see you in the next video.